I'm going to show you how to make this elegant necklace. It is very simple to make. We're going to use just a couple of tools with this. We're going to use a template. This is a shape template. This is the cushion design. TMP201 is the product code. We're also going to be using an antique mold, and this is the Barberry antique mold, and the product code for this is ANT252. We'll be using copper clay, silver clay, and accent silver, but you could use any other combination of clays for this project. I've preconditioned some clay, and I want to start with a slab 4 cards thick. So I've rolled out my copper clay 4 cards thick. I'm going to put it on a tough card and just smooth that out. And then I'm going to use my shape template to cut out the cushion shape that I need, using my ultra clay pick, and I hold that straight up and down so I get a nice straight edges on that. Then with the excess, I'm going to pack that into the antique mold to make that little center medallion. And be really careful if you scrape away the clay like this. You can cut these molds real easily. And I'll finish packing this mold, and I'll let these 2 pieces dry. I'll dry these either in the refrigerator or just air dry. Now to attach the 2 pieces, I mix up some thick copper clay paste. You can follow our instructions on making bronze clay paste. It's the exact same method. Then I need to position it right in the center where I want it to be. And right now it's real easy to slide it around so I can get it exactly where I want it to be. And I need to take my time and make sure that I've got it just right before I put pressure on it. And I want to hold that for just a few seconds. With a Sharpie, I've marked 2 spots where I want to drill, and now I'm using a little ball burnisher or a divot tool to make an indentation in the clay. It's dry, but it's still soft, so it dents easily, and that gives me a place to put the drill. So here I have a 2mm drill installed in my swivel pin vise, and very easily I'll just drill right through. This makes a nice clean hole, and then I go back through the back side just to make sure that the hole is nice and clean. And then I want to feel the edges and just clean those edges up. I'm using a fine sponge sanding pad. I want to hold that very straight so that I don't put a bevel on this. I want the edges straight. Then I need to feel it with my fingers and see if there's any burrs. Here's one here. I can very gently remove that. Doesn't take much because this is very, very soft, so I have to go gently. Then I want to use a dry paintbrush to brush away any of the dust from sanding. Now the piece is ready to fire. After firing, you can make a decision as to how you want to finish it. For this particular one, I'm going to be adding accent silver to the medallion piece so that it looks like it's made from silver, but doesn't cost near as much. So first I'm oxidizing it, and then I'm going to remove oxidation from the area that I want to apply the accent silver to. Then I mix up and apply the accent silver, fire it, and then polish the piece. Another way that I could do this would be to make the medallion out of silver clay and then rivet that on, or bronze clay, or whatever I want. And I could rivet it or solder it in place as well. So this copper piece then can be finished any way that you want. Now we'll go ahead and make the silver back plate. For this I'm using art clay silver. Art clay has kind of more of a rubbery feel than PMC does, and I have to use quite a bit of pressure to roll it out. So I'm also going to roll this piece to 4 cards thick, and then I'm going to put it on a brass texture plate to pick up a real subtle texture that looks like it's been hammered. And then again I want to use pretty firm pressure, get a nice impression. Now put the textured clay on a tough card, and then I'll put the template, the shape template, over the top. This is the same size hole that I used for the copper, And the silver clay won't shrink as much, so using the same size is going to give us actually 2 different sizes in the end. Now I'll let this piece dry, and once it's dry I need to refine the edges with a sanding stick to remove any burrs. Then I want to hold the sanding stick at an angle so that I can remove the edge. I want to round this edge slightly, but really kind of more of a bevel, so I'm going to just take it and use it in an angle and go around and take that edge off. The sanding stick gets clogged with clay powder as I use it, and occasionally I'll need to dust that off. I use a paintbrush that I've shortened the bristles on. I've cut them to about 1/8 of an inch in length, so it makes a nice scrub brush that cleans off all that powder, and then I can use the sanding stick again. After firing my silver piece, then I'm going to put the 2 pieces together, and I want to mark through the holes on the copper piece to the silver so that I know exactly where to drill my holes. Then I'm going to set a punch on the mark and use my little utility hammer to mark a spot. Lubricate the drill with cut lube, and then I'm going to drill through the silver, and I'm drilling into a block of oak. Then I can go ahead and polish this up, and I'm ready to assemble. This bar chain that I'm using is very easy to make, and we have another video in our video library that shows how to make this type of a chain, and it's very, very simple for a beginner. So I put the chain on, and then I add a clasp. And now I have a very beautiful, durable piece of jewelry that was very simple to make. And this design can be varied so many ways. You can use different shapes, different designs, portions of designs, different metals. It's just a lot of fun and very, very simple.